Blessings, peace, and love on this wonderful Wednesday. We give God praise on today. We thank we grateful waking up today and being in this evening with a heart of Thanksgiving in the month of September. We still kicking off the month of September with a rejuvenated faith, with the most definitely a reward in September, a September that's gonna bring us everything that we have put out and what we thought about and what we have spoke over and speaking of our lives. So we thankful just to be here today and just to see the manifestation of everything coming to pass that's gonna change the way that we uh use our faith coming in the months to come to encourage those around us, to build up those people around us, to inspire those around us with words, with thoughts, with good deeds, with loving deeds. That's one thing that we must continue to walk in is love. Love is, remember, law. We have to walk in the law. Love always win. And if we continue to walk in that law, then guess what? We will continue to win, and we will continue to pull those that are lost or those who are maybe going down the wrong way. We may pull them in and draw them into what we know and what changed us, and that's the love, the agape love of God. So we just want to be thankful for this day. And if you didn't miss the message yesterday, it was a message that we had yesterday about the Washington. We were at the Washington, and me and Coach Unique, we wound up chatting about that and just what the revelation that God gave us while we were just sitting in the parking lot. We were just literally sitting in the parking lot, and we've got a download. So it don't matter where you are, you can get a download anywhere. God takes those any situ. God would take any situation and place a revelation in you so that you can be an encouragement to someone. And that's what he did whenever Jesus was always using parables. He was always speaking to things and using things that was good for that he was bringing it to their level. He was bringing it to their level in the sense where they understand it. And that's what parables is about, just bringing it to a level that we can be and correspondent with what's going on. So we want to just be thankful on this morning. Thank the universe. Thank God for just being so good to us. And that we have joy, that joy unspeakable, that joy unexplainable, that joy that's down on the inside. And it becomes contagious. It becomes a magnet when you have that joy. That joy that you getting from your source. Remember, what is your source? Where your joy coming from? Where are you plugged into that you're extracting that joy? Where you're extracting those things that you can be a blessing to other people. And until you find your connection, and that connection is faith, where we're forwarding all issues to heaven. Having faith means that we're forwarding all issues to heaven. Just like if you send a postage, send something in the mailbox, what are you gonna do? You're gonna put a stamp on it, and then you're gonna send it off, and then you're gonna in hopes with the right address, with the with the stamp and whatever else you need, you in hope that it get well. It's gonna get there because you got the right address, you got the right postage stamp, and that's what it means to have faith. We're sending our prayers to God, forwarding all issues to heaven, believing and knowing that it's going to get there. We know without a shadow of a doubt, and we not moved by what circumstances say because we know we sent it on his way. And today, Coach Unique and I did a message about knowing your triggers. And we're just gonna slightly just tap on it, just to encourage you on this Wednesday to get you through the rest of the week. And we're gonna come back Friday with Faith Through a Friday. So if you're watching, we're gonna come back live on Fridays at 1 p.m. And we're gonna talk about knowing your triggers. So
Friday, not at 1. We can't do it at 1. We have a coaching at 1.
we have a coaching at 1. But we'll keep you posted, so just stay tuned, okay? So today, knowing your triggers and guarding your spirit. Knowing your triggers and guarding your spirit. Okay, now that you speaking those things, now that you see the manifestation, and now that you being guided and propelling into those things, you have to know your triggers. Know, because on this faith path, you're going to have those things that's coming. And, I want to talk to something, a trigger is not, is anything that stirs up an old wound, a bad habit, an unhealthy reaction, pain, and it can silently pull us back. Okay, so a trigger can be an old wound, a bad habit, or some unhealthy reaction that slowly pulls us back, and we may not always be aware of it. So we have to understand what trigger you, where the trigger deriving from, and where is it corresponding from. So that way, I will not continue to go back and be discouraged or misled. Triggers aren't always obvious. Triggers not always obvious. They can be a person who reminds you of your past, a place where temptation is strong, a thought pattern like fear, rejection, anger that gets stirred. And spiritually, triggers are the enemy's doorways. A trigger is an enemy doorway. If the enemy can trigger you to act a certain way, or to put you in a certain place, or to get you to do a certain thing, guess what? That's his doorway to try to creep in and try to get access. Okay, so think of it like this: if you have a certain food that upsets your stomach, you avoid it, right? If you know you have a certain food that causes you stomach pain, that doesn't feel good, you're going to avoid it. You're going to say, nah, I can't eat that. Spiritually, if you know certain environments that upset your spirit, then you must guard your spirit. So if you know that certain atmospheres or certain things trigger you, you cannot continue to feed yourself that, or you cannot continue to go around or in certain environments where you're going to be triggered. That's number one. Knowing what places are going to trigger you. And let's take a Bible scripture. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11 says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, we are not ignorant of his devices. Okay? Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, we are not ignorant of his devices. So that means that we are aware of what these triggers and what these things and what these blockages can be. When you don't know your triggers, the enemy can play you. Okay? If you don't know your triggers, the enemy can play you. But when you know them, you can spot them, block them, and overcome them. You can spot them, block them, and overcome them. And that's what we're doing when we're walking on this faith route. If anger triggers you, the enemy will push that button. All right, so spiritual principles to overcome it. So now that you know your triggers, how do you overcome it? What are you going to do to overcome? One, awareness through prayer, okay? So first and foremost, God always say that to teach us how to pray, the prayer. Ask God, Lord, show me where my triggers are stirred. And then take a note. Take notes. It's okay. Take notes on yourself. You are observant. Be observant of yourself. Take notes, okay? And then number two, guard your gates. Once you prayed about it and once God revealed it, guard your gates. Your eyes, your ears, your mouth. If it's gossip, you can't conversate with everybody. In the principle number 3, replace. Don't just resist. So now that you prayed about it, now that you guarding your gates, now you have to replace. Don't just resist. A lot of times when people have alcoholic problems or they going into therapy for something, they do the method. First acknowledge you got a problem, then you have to take accountability, then you have to say, okay, what are you gonna do now to replace that? You have to find something to replace that. Get out into the community to help somebody. Go out into the community to pour into someone else, so that way that you can be around or doing something positive, okay? And last, your triggers is not your weakness, it's wisdom. Don't treat your triggers as weakness, but wisdom. Okay, so if you treat your triggers as a wisdom, then you're able to set up and guide and be a counsel for the next individual. So unless you understand where your triggers are deriving from and how to overcome it, and you prayed about it, you can be able to be more wise in what it is that you need to do to move forward to help other people. God saying that, he say, how can one know unless they be sent? So if you know you're overcoming your test, if you know you have overcoming those things that trigger you, once you know all of those, you can go back and strengthen your brother. You can go back and strengthen those who are triggered with the same triggers that you was once triggered with. And now you can be able to help and pour in those individuals. So take accountability today to say, hey, what is triggering me? What things are setting me back? What things are bringing me back to that place that is slowly but surely causing me to go back to the old ways of thinking, the old patterns. Remember, we're doing a new thing. September, the number 9 means birth. We cannot continue with the old things, okay? So that's all I want to share with you all today. I pray that you have a blessed day. I pray that you have an amazing, wonderful Wednesday on the day, and be blessed in knowing that you are in your purpose and that you're walking fully in your purpose, not being distracted by triggers, but you're walking in your purpose, knowing you and identifying your triggers. Have a blessed and an awesome Wednesday.